were a number of things that impressed me about the trip. One was to be able to go to regions within Japan that I've never visited. And also, they're not exactly big tourist destinations, so one would have to have a purpose to visit some of those areas within the Tohoku region. What was really striking, of course, was to see the effects of not only the devastation but the reconstruction, the ways in which people are rebuilding their lives. And oftentimes there's these huge infrastructural projects like the walls they're trying to build, which really reconfigure the whole geography of the area, blocking people's views of the ocean, creating a whole host of other, certainly environmental problems as well. So what's difficult is to think about how resilient people are, their spirit, their ability to sort of deal with incredible hardship and trauma and to rebuild from that. But by the same token, it's always an ongoing thing, always having to negotiate how they're going to rebuild and redo things. The other part of it, which was really impressive to me, of course, was to certainly a tour with the Otonowa band, but also the various venues they chose, to be at a senior center, to be playing at a small ryokan or inn somewhere. And the ways in which music making in many respects is about building social relationships. It's about building relationships with people, with trying to create a sense of community, if you will, and how that would always be kind of an important task and purpose to what they were doing. And of course, lastly, it's the camaraderie too. It's to be, I felt like I've been eating, sleeping, and just immersed with the people on the tour and the band. And it's been incredibly enjoyable. It's been enjoyable to hear about people's lives and how they are reflecting upon the journey we've taken together. So I think I had very limited expectations of what was going on. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen on the course of this journey as well. One of the other exciting things, of course, was the way in which they engaged local musicians, like Takehiro on trumpet, like other people to come, E.T., whatever, the ways in which, and they were able to sort of fold them into sort of the kind of community and the flow of the music as well, which was really engaging. And partially too, the way in which they relied on people to show them where to go to, where would be places in which people would appreciate the music or be, sort of spiritually renewed by the music in some fashion. And I thought that was very good as well. But I think about my expectations, I wasn't sure, because I wasn't sure just how much the remnants of sort of the kind of damage, both in the earthquake and tsunami in Tohoku or the earthquake in Kumamoto, would we see the kind of continuing remnants of that. And it was really striking, like in Kumamoto, to visit the castle and see, in fact, that much of it still lay in ruins, and that the reconstruction project may take upwards of 20 years to be able to piece that together. But the other part too is the way in which, this had a kind of indelible effect on people's lives. People lost not only property but loved ones, and in some ways it was very interesting to see how people are rebuilding their lives. But also, what was great to talk to the band members and the people who have been on the tour before is what was it like in the preceding year? What was it like when they first started the tour a number of years back? And for them, it must be extremely moving to see the kind of ways things have changed, both in terms of the physical landscape, but in terms of the kind of ways in which people were trying to put their lives back together. And I think it was interesting to hear from them, this is what it looked like. This is what people's immediate needs. These were people who were in temporary housing before and are now able to find a much more permanent home. And all those stories were incredibly not only moving, but really to me, as I said, really pointed out resilience, the ways in which people made life go on in the face of this kind of adversity.